fight the power like Big Chuck.
What's the status, 3?
I'm good, just making the world a better place, that's all.
Check it, yo. I always be analyzing to see who's fake. People acting Janus, running around two-faced, talking behind my back until they put in their place. You're a 2-course meal without saying grace on the internet. Talking shit through your fingertips, talking high power till your shine is eclipse. Trying to ride a wave until your mind is seasick. Cement shoes and your ankles tied with 3 bricks. This isn't Grand Theft Auto, this is real life. I will piss on your grave and throw dick to your wife. This is a warning mixed with some advice. You might be king, but I'm the ace of spades, and you just renege. This is food for thought, bitch, eat a grenade. This is what people want, to be treated like dirt. I tried being humble, but that was absurd. All the brainless pigeons flock together like birds, pecking for crumbs until they merge with the crossroads and chuck the demi-urge. I think they had enough, I took the trash to the curb. Let the torture begin and watch them burn. Here's the urn.
It's hard to keep it real with fake people. They can take love, mix it with hate and make evil. I'm staring at 50 shades of gray people. It's a grand deception, like K-Reno. They are who they say they isn't. On the internet, spreading everybody's business through a troll account. Talking foul, not knowing what goes around comes around. The flat out truth is the energy change when I come around. I guess London Bridge is falling down. Hey people, stall him out. We know all about the narrative painted to control the clout. They gatekeepers trying to stop the ones trying to awake people. HOTC.
Rogue One Productions.
Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Baby, do the shit, hop up in the whip, turn the music up, baby, you know what it is. Party in the lot, party on the block. Fuck the 9 to 5, we gon' party on the clock. Then after that, she gon' party on the clock. Baby say she love me, but I know she a bop. Bop used to mean a fucking song that is hot. Now all it means, she's a motherfucking thought. Fucking definition, put her in position. Smoking on the blood while I smash her in the kitchen. On another mission, yeah, I'm going fishing. For a bad chick, put her legs to the ceiling. Now I'm suited up like a James Bond villain. About to kill the government in 49 minutes. Smash me the chick about 35 minutes. Girl, I gotta go, gotta handle my business. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, get me smoking on the spot. Her dress got a slit, showing off her tits. Walking through the hood, seeing who she gonna pick. Baby, do the shit, come on over here. Smoking on the loud while I'm drinking on the beer. Told me your name, hopping in the range. See the storm coming. me, yeah, we fucking in the rain. Smoking on the flame, going to a brain. Fuck planet Earth, yeah, we on another plane. Hold up the liquor, roll up the swisher. Me and your bitch going down by the river. Like a power tool, hell yeah, I'm a driller. She like Futurama, told the bitch, call me Bender. Bricks in the fender, sell it like a winner. Sell it January all the way to December. With a bad chick, I'ma eat her up for dinner. Just got some weed, baby, hand me the swisher. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Got a fire, baby, let me turn it up a notch. Baby, come on over here, let me show you what I got. Fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot. Fat, loud pack, yeah, we smoking on the spot.
Listen. Continuous vibration. I'm always in motion. Conductor of energy like salt in our oceans. Alchemical sorcery, elixirs and potions. Polka dot shrooms got my third eye open. Deep in my memories, bending time and space. My brain has archives, I'm digging in the crates. Reflect on the past, sometimes I have to numb the pain. The repetition of thoughts will drive a man deranged. We're born into shin, born with the lack of knowledge. To my family and elders, I'm always paying homage. The capital's direct current on this motherboard of wattage. The current is currency when dealing with dollars. Time is money, and money is time. The sun, the moon, the stars, electric and divine. Cymatic magnetron, frequencies align. It's written in the heavens, can your eyes see the signs?
That's fire, bro.
Yeah, too bad nothing went with it. I almost
That's you right there, bro. I could hear you. That's you.
That was the original verse to
You know, hey, I thought you were just gonna say, money is time, all I need is hour.
yeah, you could say it like that.
You know what I mean? You tell me a story, what you gonna do with that hour? And all of these guys been making all of this thing underwater.
I said the capital is the direct current on this motherboard of wattage. Washington DC is the capital. DC is direct current. In the country, the motherboard. I like that verse better than the other one. That verse is similar to this one.
And if everyone believes the illusion.
So if you listen to that song, the verses, the first couple of lines are similar because I couldn't remember it. So there's really two.
Play it, bro.
It becomes reality. Akushi thinks she's won the game, but he didn't count on the pinch hitter.
All is continuous vibration, always in motion. Conductor of energy, a salt in the ocean. Serpent is the sine wave, polarities interwoven. A chemical sorcery, elixirs and potions. Resonant frequencies, molecular explosions. Your daily programs is heavy doses of hypnosis. People walk around blind even though their eyes are open. No time for ideological salesmen with biblical notions. That box in your room, televised lies through your vision. It doesn't matter your race, status, or religion. The longer I have to beat you when your mind is locked in prison. That food is filled with toxins, it's why you can't think clear. Illusion of choice is your option while keeping all in fear. Load up all your weaponry, the revolution is here. I said load up all your weaponry, the revolution is here.
Damn. The party was filled, it could make you feel kicking like a to the amplifier in my ear that was so clear.
Well, you write music?
That's why when I posted, remember, like on my page, I got all the Bay Area boys, like, you know what I mean, hang out with me. Some of these guys are like my friend, like big rapper in the Bay Area, bro. You can see on my page, I post on my shorts. One of my boys, he even got like one of his sound reaches as we speak, 36 million view in YouTube, 1 billion view in Spotify.
That's a lot of views.
So I have friends that, you know what I mean, do this stuff. First, I mean, I just, you know what I mean, put in my rhyme. I like the way you said it, so I have to just put in my little, you know what I mean, my little thing at the end. I heard what you said, you know what I mean? That's why I was just telling you.
I'll just leave this one.
Kicking like a to the amplifier in my ear that was so clear.
I got so many rhymes in my notebook. I got to start putting them to beats to work on this album. People are gonna like this song. I've been holding this verse for like 3-4 months, and I haven't put my verse down.
Let it explode, it, bro. Let it explode. Tell us.
Hurricane put his verse down the same day I sent it to him, and it's been like 4 months. I've been slacking. Hurricane's pissed. I don't blame him.
Let me see. Let me see his verse. Let's hear it. Are we allowed to or what?
I can't.
Okay.
It's in the app.
Do you have the beat? How's the beat gonna sound like? Let me hear it.
Do I have the instrumental still?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
I don't think I do. I think. Yeah, I don't think I do. It's in. I have other instrumentals.
Who do you like? Who do you like? Like, you know how at YouTube they got that they call it a type beat that you could use it, right?
Yeah, I got a couple apps, but I worry about.
No. In YouTube, they call it a whatever. Who's your favorite rapper? You put it right there, and then you put type beat, and then it's for free. So you know what I mean. Who do you like?
Upload beat.
Who do you like, bro?
For who?
Like a rapper.
Hurricane.
What's the name of that guy? That's the name of the rapper, bro. Hurricane.
Pull up these beats, man. What the fuck? I forgot how I did that. I go to my files.
Hey, look, this is a Hurricane type beat, and no copyright, no nothing. It was just dropped an hour ago. Let me let you hear it. Hurricane, right here.
Did you know that with your VA home loan benefit,
Hurricane type beat, right here.
Requirement is 0?
Let you hear it.
Let the world know, Shabo.
Damn, what happened?
This is just dropped an hour ago. You hear it? What do you think about this type of beat? Now we're gonna go insane, giving you all the way. Cause the time again, playing me all day. What do you think about that type beat? Go play that beat, my brother. I want to hear it. That was just my my little sample when I listen to the beat. That's how my mind go, brother, and that's how I sound when I freestyle. So I'm waiting for Charles. What's his next music? It's gonna be. That sounds good, Charles. Are you still there, my brother? Charles, loose connection, guys. Salute to everybody. I mean, we're waiting for a Charles new beat. We're gonna see how the vibes gonna sounds like, but they try to give us a few message, man. Wake everyone up, and this is how we push this, narrative through music. Make sure you tap
Let's
in.
see if I
Go ahead,
pull
Charles.
this up. Kicked me out. I had to go look the name up.
Right.
This is one beat I've been writing to. It's a Havoc beat. Considering I don't have homemade beats, I just pick out. I could use. Is once you start, the song becomes powerful, man, the copyright ain't gonna count no more. They're gonna want money.
I mean,
If you start
the
blowing up,
the crazy
they're
part
gonna be
about it
like,
when it comes to this type of beat, if you become popular and they become popular as well, but because of their beat, so you both gaining traction, bro. That's what they call it. You know what I mean? That type beat, but you're gonna know what type of beat that it's all over there in YouTube. It's for free.
Let's see. I got this other beat too that's super fire. Excuse me. All right, it's a Apathy beat with Jada.
Let's hear it. You lost connection again, Charles? You still there, bro? Hey, let me restart my phone, bro. Hold on.
All right, boom. So this is one beat.
Come here, turn the lights on.
It's one beat I'm using. This beat's fucking tough. That's one, and this is my other beat. That beat's sick. I'm trying to get Hurricane and SIRDROP on this beat right here. Or this beat.
Come here, come here, come here, come here. Turn the lights out.
Both of those beats are awesome. Like Hurricane and SIRDROP. Have a lot of skills, a lot of talent. And in my opinion, they're not getting enough attention. What's up, Dom? I guess Boshi ain't coming back.
Hey, Charles. Hey, just had to park my car in the back there to get to the Church of Speculation Sunday. So I'm here now.
Shit, you probably learn more from the Church of Speculation than fucking actual church.
That's so true. That's so true.
Church focuses on, I bet you, I remember when I first started going to church here and there, all they focused on was, we're in the last days and Revelations, and that was their main focus. I guarantee you, right now, if I went back, it's about what, 30 years later, they're still focused on the same shit. I guarantee it. It's the last days.
It's always the last day.
I know. Jesus will be here. He's coming on a UFO. We don't know when. We just got to keep looking up. Keep your faith.
Well, it feeds faith. You know, if you don't want it to occur, because then it would destroy my faith.
Maybe. The rapture. I wonder if you got a rap during the rapture.
You probably do. Might have to do some beatbox too while you're doing it.
I don't know. Imagine Jesus started rhyming. That would be dope. I knew it. I knew he had those scripture rhymes.
Isn't that what rap is to a certain point? Poetry?
Yeah. That's why when I rhymed before, I remember London Man said, "Oh, that sounds like poetry." And I'm thinking, what the fuck do you think rhyming is, man? It's the same shit.
Yeah, poetry. Yep. Wrote poetry with beats to it. I posted something in the back there for Charles if you want for personal use on the subconscious.
All right, I'll copy this link. Hold on. I'm on it. Okay. Canna Dummy disagrees. I think that's what he's saying. He said, I don't hear anyone saying that. Man, I've been hearing it for years down here. Maybe over where you're at, it's a little different, but rhythm and poetry, rap, yeah. Or what did the RZA used to call it? R&B. He said R&B is rap and bullshit. I never got that, but okay. But yeah, rap and poetry. I mean, rhythm and poetry. Well, at least the churches in the States, that's their favorite go-to is Revelations, because they want people to, I guess, keep that faith that one day these evil people will pay the price. God's going to return and make them suffer. That's what, in my opinion, I used to think that was our job. I'm starting to just change my mind on that whole concept.
Well, if you go by the
there has to be other ways than war. You know, I personally don't want to go to war because I've seen war and people bleed, and I've seen people get fucked up. But
well, if you
who wants to hurt people? Only psychos like hurting people. I sure don't.
Depends on
if
the
I have
psychology.
to defend myself, that's different, you know. But then I still don't like hurting people, even though I'm defending myself. But if someone forces the hand, that's their fault. That's how I look at it.
Well, if you cherish life, you're going to be in conflict if you go to war. If you genuinely, usually if you're confused, yeah, then you can be a person that's going to fight in some sort of war. Like literally, if you love life, why would you take arms to harm it, let alone harm somebody else? But I like I said, Charles, I shared you that video. It talks a little bit about the subconscious. So the first 7 years. So when people go to church, they're probably, if I was going to, make some speculations, it's the fact that people bring their children to church is what they're really after.
Yeah.
So this way it'll be programmed in them, and usually church parents bring their kids at like a baby, 1 or 2 years old. The subconscious is still working. It's taking in all that information. It's even before school.
I used to sit there and be like, this is boring, This is I would sit there and be like, this preacher thinks he's better than everybody. Like he has some better connection with God than anyone else in this room. These are things I was thinking when I was like 8 or 9.
Well,
I didn't like church. It bored the shit out of me.
You were probably doing therapy and healing at that point, whether you knew it or not. You're combating, if you were, especially if you went to church prior to your first 7 years, prior to 7 years old. So again, the subconscious plays a major role. When people think negative of others, the only thing that subconscious assumes is that that's what you think of yourself. People try to validate that by looking outside. I said, but you're really speaking on your own behalf. That's why, backbiting is actually harmful to a person, regardless of who it is. That's part of the indoctrination. They're almost encouraging you to say bad shit about them.
Mm-hmm. They like it all, man. They look at it all as publicity. Bad, good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I use the word anchor. You're being anchored here. Your subconscious is being anchored here. It doesn't know to judge. It just takes in information. It's like talking to what they call AI. It's mimicking us consciously. Forget about subconsciously. It's like when somebody says, consciously I'm judging. I say, okay, but what does your subconscious say? Well, it doesn't judge. I say, okay, but what is it saying? Is it confused now? Again, I'm just using words. This is why it's speculation, because I couldn't show somebody the subconscious. I can give pictures, but that doesn't prove that's the subconscious.
I've always stayed away from religion because it's not, well, I don't want to say judgmental, but there's always people in these churches that think they're above somebody, right? They're you're the sinner, you know, now they gave their life to Christ or whoever, Buddha. Well, actually, I haven't seen many Buddhists around, but I could say for Muslim and Christian, you know, they swear by that book, man, and that they're better and more elevated than other people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the I'm chosen. It's kind of like saying I'm an American. I'm a proud American or a proud Canadian. We're the best country. It's grandiose in disguise. And even if you could prove that, how would that serve? You know, like there's people out there that probably could do a lot of things that me and you, Charles, even if we start trying or working a lot, putting a lot of effort, we couldn't obtain that level of whatever they have obtained. It's usually a form. It's a form of insecurity. Most people they're going to mask it with a false sense of security. That's the difference. They're not challenged whatever they think they have going on. And then what they'll usually do is, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying what's up to Mission and Canada Dummy. I don't know if I said what's up to Canada Dummy, but my bad, Dom.
No problem. And then people usually try to deflect and they try to attack you, or they double down on their own. I'm like, okay, so but you're not really challenging yourself then at that point. You're trying to justify it. Like, you know, think about wars. You know how it's easy to justify wars. Fighting for my country. He shot one of my kids. You know what I mean? Like this is the land of the free. I'm like, really? It's the land of the free as you're trying to protect it on a regular basis.
Land of the free. As the cops pull you out your car because you didn't listen. You made me do this. You didn't listen to me.
Yep.
You're supposed to follow orders. Get out. Sit on the ground, you fucking dog. Like, the man with all the weapons says, don't put your hands in your pocket. It's my safety. I'm scared.
Yeah.
The guy, the narcissist with all the weapons.
That's why it's land of the free, but they don't tell you all the different rules you got to follow. So is it really free?
Right.
Or is it
as they're stomping your head into the ground. It's for your freedom. Yeah. We're a country. I feel like this country is like a fucking one big, what's the word I'm looking for? One big test ground. I'm trying to think of the best word for it. The United States is one big, or let me just say America, because we're not united. I need a good word for a testing facility, or we're an experiment. That's what we are. There we go.
An experiment.
With psychological war.
An experiment that's probably worked in many other empires until people become so disobedient. It's not because they're rebellion. You know, what freedom needs in these countries, in their interpretation, is obedience. The one that actually is not going to be obedient to a police officer is a virus. So what they're hoping for is they put you in jail. They're not going to rehab you. They're just going to figure, you know, if you don't like your being locked up long enough, maybe you will eventually just won't rebel as much. They're counting on most of those people aren't going to obey. But for the mass of the people, when you see a police officer, you know you got to be somewhat, okay, what, did I do something wrong? You know what I mean? Are they going to find something on me? They're counting on obedience. And the fact that the police officers are doing the job the way they are, they're already showing that they're obedient.
Hell yeah. The sergeant shows up. The thing about people saying, let me speak to your supervisor. And I'm thinking, what does that matter? The supervisors who taught them to act like that, and you're gonna call the superior teacher like he's gonna give a fuck. He's the one who taught them to act like that.
Well, some of them, when they call their superiors because somebody's pulling the straw man game. So somebody that's in the car understands how the rules work, but they're trying to get away with something. So they'll bring one of their own that understands the rules that much more. And you know.
Well, I get where these so-called sovereign people are going, and I don't think they're in the wrong. They're just not going to win that battle. And no matter what you say or pull, they're going to rip you out that car, slam you on your fucking neck, and that's it. You're not going to win. No, I don't care how many times you try it, say it. Once you say I'm a sovereign, or how they like to put the oxymoron, sovereign citizen, the cops like, we got one, boys.
Well, unfortunately, Charles, you're not a sovereign when you're in civilization. What they're counting on is if you understand the ones that do the straw man game. Because what's going to happen is if they bring in a specialist, you know, somebody beyond just the police, and then they're trying to talk to the person that understands their game, they're probably talking, you know, basically, you know, to the dispatch, and they're talking to other people there, and they're saying, listen, if this guy decides to go to court, we're not going to get nothing from him because he's going to understand the game that we play. So they'll let him go. But if he's not in a club, they'll get him somewhere else. So it's not about sovereignty. Sovereign citizen is kind of oxymoronic. You know, you can't be either you're going to be a citizen based on what they call us, or you're going to be a sovereign being. But then if you're a sovereign being, then why are you in civilization? See, this is where people play well, it's a commerce license. I say, but you're still driving that car, right? Sure you are.
It's all about who you know and money. And I realized that at a young age, because when I would get arrested, I knew my mother already told me, I ain't coming to get you. So I knew I was on my own. And we weren't rich to bond. But my friend families would know certain cops and know certain people, and they would let them out while I sat there in fucking jail.
Yeah, you have to know club members.
Damn, okay. So this is how it works. It's fucking bullshit.
You have to know the rules. I remember years ago, a buddy of mine, I'm not going to mention names, but he understands the rules, and he knew he was coming away. He was coming away from a club, and he had drank quite a bit, and he knew he was under the intoxication. When he got pulled over by the police, he knew enough to say, listen, I would like to talk to my lawyer. And he knows at that point the police are going to bring him to jail. And while he's in jail, he's calling his lawyer, and his lawyer to give me a number, 6, usually indicating how many beers he had. He says, I'll be there in 6 hours. You know, these are systems that are set up for the people that are enforcing it, Charles. People that don't agree with the system, my question for them is, why are you in the system?
It's still good to learn the laws, though, because it could help you along the way.
Well, in those cases, it's the system. Those are policies. That's not laws. This is when if you're truly a sovereign being, you understand nature's laws. What we've been inundated with is policies, man-made policies that they call laws, but they're not laws. Letter of the laws is a different game.
So the Constitution was supposed to be set in stone, and it's not supposed to be altered. The original version says, but yet they put all these policies after the fact. Like, you can bear arms, but if you do this or this, you can't. None of that was supposed to be added. At least that's how I see it.
That's an Abrahamian term. Think about Moses when he came down supposedly with these tablets. That's why they use the word set in stones. But these policies are written with pen and paper. And you know, with paper, you can change them at any given moment. So there's nothing set in stone. You can carve it in stone. Again, this is where people have to go inwards and realize, so what is the Constitution? Well, if you understand what the people means and prosperity, you realize it has nothing to do with you.
I just said it that way because, you know, people put something in play and say it's not altered. You're supposed to back up what you speak. When you speak something, it's very serious when you put something in motion. If you break that, your word ain't shit.
Well, in days of old, the sword was mightier than mightier because people feared death, whether they knew it or not. So they did it out of ignorance, and then they made the pen stronger than the sword. You know, you put something in paper, and then you get police officers, which are humans, to enforce it. There's your power. Doesn't matter if the other person says, I don't agree with it. I said, okay, no problem. You don't agree with it. Okay, we'll bring a couple extra police officers. You know, again, it's one of those things. This is where policies are made. They're written, and then people will enforce them. And most of them are enforced out of ignorance. They're not really grasp what they are and why you're getting caught up in the concept of black and white pen paper, you know, or blue or white. You know,
we'll persuade you. Let's call a couple more persuaders here.
Well, you're going to be persuaded because most people aren't going to understand how these things work. Even the people that enforce it, if you start to try to explain these stuff to people, they're going to look at you like a deer in a headlight. What are you talking about? And then, of course, they'll retort, I'm just doing my job. And then there's other people say, I just don't agree with the system. Both of them are being naive. You know, like I said, Charles, there is systems. Go ahead, Charles.
I was just reading what Mission said. I don't know shit about law. I know enough, but nowhere near enough. I ain't in the front like I'm Mr. Law. Like, I know enough, but not enough.
Well, you know the policies of the system. Letters of the law, I'm going to use words just to describe it. Land, air, water, and space. And then what it does, it's actually boundaries for nature. Nature is wild and untamed. We've become domestified. So now at that point, you know, if you want to go to like nature and you want to actually take your chance, you'll realize it's wild and untamed, but it has to have boundaries. Think about the oceans and the beach. You have to have laws for those things. Humans don't make laws. They say things.
Have you got a second?
Yeah, give me a second, Charles.
That's a good act. Land, air, water, and space. Like, I used to always think when I was in my teens, or from like 11, 12, 13, 14, I was always against the, you know, tyranny and oppression. And I don't like bullies. But I always thought to myself, why do we follow these people? Who gives them the say? You know, why do we let them fucking manipulate us? %, because they print paper. A fucking piece of paper with some guy I never met in my life, some dead moron. Actually, I think on a $20 bill, you got fucking Epstein. Or that's Epstein's uncle, his great uncle.
Sorry, Charles, I'm back actually. So what were you saying about Mr. Epstein or whatever, whoever that character is?
I was just joking and saying that's him on a $20 bill.
It could be.
I said that could be his great uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Epstein had allegedly had billions of dollars, but I think it comes to a point where it ain't about money. It's about control. Like if you own properties, to me, if you own land, even though I don't think anyone could own land, that's more powerful than fucking money, owning land.
I think, Charles, there's probably a power move going on right now. Like after COVID, there was a lot of, hence the word pandemic, it was really to notify all the people that have wealth. So there was probably a lot of movements going on because there's a good chance the Queen of England had died. And there's other players that probably favored Charles at the time. So when they talk about these things on the news, Epstein or whoever characters, they really don't give a damn about the citizens. They're basically telling their club members, this is the shit that happens to you if you try to play one of those ploys on us, like what they did with Saddam Hussein. He was doing a lot of things.
That was my boy.
Yeah.
Saddam, that was my boy.
Yeah, but again, he was in a club of some sort, he was doing business. You know,
That
it's
didn't
when,
sound right.
yeah, when you're trying to trick the club while you're in the club, they're gonna make you. They'll use you as an example. You know, so when they're talking on the news about Epstein or whatever, they're basically telling all their members, anybody that aligned with him, we're going to get you. We'll fuck you over. Now, they might turn around and say, but what about the masses? We don't give a shit about them. You know, it's kind of like watching a basketball game. The two teams are competing with each other. More times than not, most of those players that are on the court, they really don't care about the audience, even though they're there to actually feed their, the attendance and pay or whatever. But they're not concerned about that. So when people are talking about Epstein or whoever these characters are, they're not realizing. They're just using the media to explain to all these other people.
No, I think.
Go ahead.
I think psychological warfare has advanced so much from them using it, like MK Ultra and this and that, whatever you want to label it, but where they could make something up and roll it out. Let's say Epstein Island, right? Let's say trafficking is real, and you know, they got pressure to do something about it. They could make a whole thing up to make it look like they're doing nothing about it, especially people involved. And I don't know how true it is, but there's allegedly big names involved. I don't know how they would know, but how these people that say these things would know, but you know.
Charles, we all here, unless you're like a couple years old, went through COVID. All of us.
That shit was fake.
Well, whether it's fake, scripted, a story, whatever. Even people that, you know, let's say they say, listen, Dominic, I'm a religious person. Okay, so your religion is for or against the other religion. Why? Because they merged during that time. Are you for or against capitalism or communism? What do you mean? Well, during COVID, everything shut down. It'd be different if all of a sudden, of course it is. So
That's
at that
wild,
point,
man.
So at that point,
I had friends. I just want to say I had friends telling me I can't leave my house. Like, what are you doing leaving your house? No people are opening stores. I'm like, oh, these people are soft.
You know, it's kind of like if you knew, I'm supposed to believe, if you knew that politics, it was scripted from top to bottom, would you vote? If a person really did know, they would say no, or, you know, something, I want a piece of that action then. It'd be no different than casino. If you knew casino from top to bottom was scripted. But when people say, well, Dominic, I don't, and then they'll say the word, I don't believe that. I say, okay, so you're a believer then. What do you mean? Just because you say you don't believe, that means you're a believer. You believe the system is run without you actually doing an investigation. I'm speculating when I say, would people continue voting? You know what I mean? This is why I like to speculate. Fuck, this is speculation. When I'm talking about this character Epstein, it's speculation. But for most of us, what they're conditioning us is to believe, oh yeah, well, they're telling it on the news, so therefore what? Say the word, please, say the word. You must believe. But people think the word believe is a bad word. No, it just means that there's no way you can prove it. Because if you could, then you would know. And then the next question would be, how does it serve for you to know that information? That's why most people don't ever use the word serve, because they're so caught up in belief systems. Now, they could turn around, and Charles, you give some good examples. You've literally had experience with police officers. So you can say from firsthand, from a small group of police officers, excuse me, you've had whatever you've kind of come to an awareness. But you can't say that about every police officer in America, let alone the rest of the world. You know, that's like saying one human being, color skin, or a gender treated me bad, so I'm going to assume the rest of them are the same way. No, that's usually racism, and it's a form of ignorance.
Fucking racism.
Yeah, those racists, all of them. Those humans. You know, we got to do something about them, Charles. I don't know. I'm in one of them right now.
Are they trying to win? That's the question. What race are they trying to win?
I can only speculate. That's why I use the word anchor. Maybe they're trying to anchor us here.
Look,
whatever that means. Go ahead.
Look at these grains of salt. Pyramid salts of crystal. Then, so what they did was they took one of these and put it under a microscope. Boom. What does that look like? The fucking Pyramid of Giza, man. Looks just like it, structural wise and everything. How the hell the Egyptians know?
Well,
they were looking at salt under a fucking microscope.
Again, Charles, is one of those things, overgeneralizing and then saying it's like just based on the word Egyptian. There was probably among them in the Egyptian time that were aware. It's like today. Go ahead.
Whatever their names were, the people over there.
No, but okay. Well, sorry. I shouldn't have said no. But what I'm trying to point out is, in this age right now, there is people that are aware. Now, somebody could say, yeah, but all the Americans. No. Among them, among the Egyptians, there were people that are aware, especially if they understand why they did formations around a certain person that was a king or whatever, or a pharaoh with gold. They're trying to give more conduit to him. So when people look at structures of why do they had a triangle and people were like the Ankh or whatever, they understood energy. But among them, there were people that were mystics. But overall, the Egyptians are no different than the Americans or Canadians. Sound asleep, and then the technology will come. It'll be plug and play. It's like if me and you, Charles, came back another 100 years and looked back at the human race and say, okay, who gave the cars? Well, it was a few of them. The rest of them just knew we had to train some of them to build them. But overall, most people don't really know how the technology works. They just know how to use it. Some of them might be able to break it down a little bit, maybe how to do some soldering. But overall, they're not going to really, most people aren't going to grasp how did Wi-Fi come to be, how did all the language came to be, and how did all the alchemy of shape-shifting of materials. The people that actually understand what you're just showing there, Charles, are probably the same people that are ruling right now. And I'm not talking about generational wealth. They probably pay for those type of people.
Peter picked a peckered pickle. I don't know. Peter. How did I say it the other day? I said Peter picked a pickled pepper. Yeah, Peter picked a pickled pepper.
Bunch of peas.
And then pooped in his pants.
Good peas, Charles. Bunch of peas. And then was there some ponies?
People have done that. They've written rhymes with all peas.
Yep.
It's not easy to do. I've tried. Or I've seen or heard people will write a rhyme with all words that begin with con. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to appreciate people's craft. That's like watching Steph Curry shooting from anywhere on the court, or watching a bunch of Harlem Globetrotters. You eventually learn, you become so good at your craft that other people will say, well, I can do it too. I said, maybe. Good luck with that. And you might find among them, there's people that can actually rap. And then there's people that say, listen, I practice rap. Other people say it just comes more naturally. That's why when you hear people say, okay, they've done studies where some people will literally practice something like doing free throws, and other people will say, no, I'm just going to try to envision it. And then when they start throwing the basketball towards the hoop during a free throw, they say it all lines up. Again, this kind of clicks in with the subconscious. We have something more superior, sorry, Charles. We have something more superior within us than without us. They would have adorned certain kinds of, that's why they do pictures, certain people that were channeling information.
When I see Steph Curry shoot from the fucking stand, I'd be like, damn, that fucking ball is rigged. But then again, I think that dude must practice, because that's all they have time to do. And some players like are very serious about their craft. They want to be the best. It's like Kobe. Players like that are they call them I don't want to say narcissistic, but they call them because repetition does create mastery for the most part.
Keep in mind too, Charles, as much as Steph Curry, I'm using him as an example, they've shown green screen, by the way. They've shown that certain athletes aren't even at the stadium. They've just put them in there. And then they green screened it, and they show people that, you know, when they wear that costume, they can grab the ball and move it to wherever you want. Unless you're there and you say, listen, that was me in the audience, I got to see him do it live, then you would have to trust the person. Outside of that, most of it, we're looking at through a monitor, you know, some sort of tablet of some sort. So it's easy to mislead us. Even though I've seen him play basketball through another screen, I've never seen him play live. I have buddies that told me, and I said, okay, I trust you guys, because I've gone to basketball games, but I've never seen him play basketball. So, like, you know, we went from holograms to now digital screens. You know, we use green screens too. A lot of movie sets, that's what it is still. All staged to a certain point. It's like watching wrestling. When you watch wrestling, but you actually don't listen, but you just listen to the transcript, a lot of it has to do about damning God. Like they actually value the concept that God exists, but we damn him. Oh, okay. You know.
And instead of solving our own problems, people always ask God to solve them.
Yeah, and if they're not getting a response, and even let's say a God does respond, and what type of God is it, and why isn't he favoring the animals too? You know, again, it's usually self-absorbed people that do that kind of stuff. God's going to save me. Okay, this ought to be interesting. Your son was driving.
I conversate with myself. Or shall I say, I conversate with my higher self in my mind. Some people might call that crazy, but
lucky you. They call you crazy.
I solve a lot of problems. That's how I solve a lot of problems, talking to myself.
And some of them, Charles, for my instance, just get out of your own way. You know, there's nothing to solve. These things shall pass. Kind of the whole terminology. You know, it's like trying to hang on to a memory. Like, okay, so it's done. You know, I rather attend to my cut finger than opposed to over reflecting on, okay, maybe I can learn something once my finger's okay. Maybe next time don't put it near a saw. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I could ruminate and say, okay, I should have known better. Again, it's done. This is what people do. You know, they report on the media whatever character's name that's already occurred, and then people are talking about it in the now. Okay, well, let's talk about Epstein again, or let's talk about the Bill Cosby, or let's talk about Putin. I'm like, but these things have already occurred.
What's up, Mark? Yeah, I seen the video on the magnets in the ball and rim.
Yeah.
But green screen would make it even more possible. I wouldn't even think of that. I don't know why. And I also heard from a channel I watch, he said camera angles and the rim ain't even really 10 feet. So I don't know about that. I've never been to an NBA game, so I can't say it's factual. But I've been to college, UConn, but I sat way up at the top. And I've only been there once. And I've never played ball on a professional court. I played in college courts, but like small colleges, like this college in New Haven. But yeah, that's not the NBA. And that could be a possibility. Camera angles too. Because when I watch these players jump, it don't even look like they're given really any it's like they just jump all light. They're not really trying to take off too high.
I guess, Charles, everything is real to a certain point. And I'll give you an example. We could go to a basketball court, get our tape measure the court. You could even put a magnet to it. Okay, no problem. Then we have to talk about it being scripted. Is it organized so some team win by more points? Now, what can be real again is they're trying to rig the game for money. Everything is still real.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. But what people want to get caught up is, well, the basketball rim is different. I'm like, okay, so I've seen guys dunk on an 8-foot rim. You just have to look at the person's height. But the thing is, that's real still. Regardless if it's a got you moment, that's still real. That's the objective part. The scripted part is, how do you control people's brain or mind? You're going to use the reality part. Now whether or not there's a magnet on the ball. The part of the scripted is, first of all, they openly admit basketball is entertainment. Wrestling is entertainment.
Sports.
It's there to it's
Sports
entertainment. Now, if you get caught up in winning and losing, opposed to there's many other possibilities, it's still entertainment. Yeah, but I got hurt. Okay, but it's still entertainment. But, I lost money. It's still entertainment. They're missing that part. So once you realize it's entertainment, they're not there to be honest with you. They're not there about the truth. It's a game. Now, if they're saying, listen, winners and losers, the winners get to kill the losers, then that's a little bit different now. Now we're talking about life. But overall, when you watch theater or politics, it's entertainment. It's to entertain the mind. Now,
that's what it should be. A theater. That sounds a lot better now.
It's a theater.
Yeah, no. But
you got spin
they
doctors.
should put that in the title, more or less. The theater of sports.
Well, they do. They call it entertainment. But unfortunately, people, Dominic, it's not real. I said, no, it is real. Objectively, if you went over there and touched that person, he's real based on your senses. Everything's real at that point. Everything is real. I could touch this laptop. It's real. Now I could speculate and say, okay, but maybe they're using it for the Wi-Fi. Okay, but where's the Wi-Fi frequencies? And then what they have to do is put it on a chart. I said, okay, the chart's real, but where's Wi-Fi? I don't see it. There you go. There's the difference. But what people wanted.
That's what Prodigy meant. We're at he said, there's a war going on. No, that ain't. Anyway, forget it. Go ahead.
Well, no, I can sum it up in a little bit. It's not really about flesh and blood because that's real. It's about spirituality. It's in the unknown. But the question is, who's the ones that are speaking? Are the ones that are speaking the ones that the offspring? Let's speculate now. The offsprings, the fallen ones, and then they're complaining about another spiritual realm that we can't obtain when we're in the conscious state. I get when people want to say, listen, I just broke this twig. Well, Dom, I don't think that's a real twig. Okay, here's a fucking twig. Okay, we could play with the idea the word is not there, but that object is still there, right? And did you not see it snap? Yes. So what part are you missing? This is where people are asleep. What reality is for most people is the objective part. Two things touching together that I call a hand are touching each other. I can see them. I can even taste my finger if I wanted to. That's the senses. And that is what they're trying to anchor you with. They want to fuck with your senses. And how many people fuck themselves with their senses? Well, Dominic, I don't believe in that. Okay, there you go. You don't believe in that. There you go. But I'm showing you literally something that's an object. That book is real. Them telling you a story of a guy named Jesus, unless you say, listen, my neighbor's name is Jesus, and that's who they're talking about, then that's a belief. Anybody that says they don't have a belief is full of shit. They're too busy being a fucking sleep. Now, they might be upset the way I said it, or they figure, well, Dominic, it came out of my mouth. I said, okay, I told you openly I will talk like a fool. And when I say fool, I'm talking about the tarot card. I will explore any ideal, which is another way of saying a belief. It's usually when somebody's trying to prove somebody else's fault. I'm like, okay, so how do you actually do that? You're going to use a language to try to do it? Are you going to get a gun and maybe, prove something to themselves? There's a big difference for me anyway, Charles, honesty opposed to truth. Most people aren't even honest with themselves. They might be aware that the system has never been the way they thought it was supposed to be set up. Or they were just too busy being naive. Well, the government, I thought they worked for us. No, they never did. And they might once in a while have a couple of naive ones in there and saying, well, yeah, I'm here to, what, you're going to help the citizens? Do people even want to be classified as citizens? Classifications have always occurred, even in India culture. You're born the untouchable. You're born poor. It's almost a disgrace if you become rich, and vice versa. Hence why they use words like outcast. And of course, then in American Canada, people say, well, we don't have class. Sure you do. You have white collar class, blue collar class. But who does the classifications? Now, they might turn around and say, okay, well, these are the elite. And guess who enforces it? The masses. There's your cycle. Now, the question the person will say, I don't agree with those systems. Well, then why are you in the system then? Leave. Nobody's holding you back. Leave all your man-made fucking devices here and then go to nature. No, don't go to a farm with your fucking truck. Leave the truck here. Go out there. No. You're not going to go buy a fucking farmhouse. You're going to build a fucking farmhouse. You're going to go out in the woods. You're going to make a fucking device called a saw or whatever. You're going to cut it down. You're going to do a log cabin. The ones that can do it, thumbs up for you. The rest of us, especially the ones that think I want to live off grid, you're still full of shit. That's 101, ripping a hole in yourself. And then you could do it again. Rinse and repeat. Charles, I'm speculating. Speculating is like saying I'm entertaining. I'm entertaining the masses. Anyway.
Dang, I was trying to look for this verse by Prodigy. He said, we're at war with the enemy we can't see. It's like going to war with those frequencies. I'm about to jump off here soon, like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Yep.
And I don't know why I'm getting a headache, man.
Some of those wars, Charles, that are fighting is actually with the subconscious. And you can't see it.
That's the biggest war is with yourself.
Well, it is a war unless you want to merge with it. How do I communicate with it? Okay, go into a state of peace, silent, and then meditate. Listen, I know I err in that in a lot of ways. This is
my mind's a battlefield. It'd be like, it's like a fucking Vietnam War in there.
Well, the mind is literally the battlefield. But what's on the battlefield? The conscious and subconscious. The only difference is the subconscious doesn't judge, neither does the mind. It's the conscious state. And how do most of us come to this judgment state? Because we've been bombarded. When I hear other people tell stories, my subconscious figures, those are the stories that, Dom, you're telling. What do you mean? Regardless of when you're hearing it, if you start speaking to yourself, the only thing your subconscious is going to think it's coming from you. That's why when people watch videos or whatever, your subconscious say, listen, it's like looking in a mirror. Yeah, but it looks different than me. It doesn't do that. The conscious mind does the judgment. It's almost like the old saying, you have to have your house in order. Now, for me, Charles, I just share awareness. I could be the biggest fucking hypocrite online, but I'm still sharing awareness. What people do with that information, that's for them to figure out. Same with me. I just happen to speak out loud. So I have an opportunity to hear my stories, even though they're probably full of shit. Now somebody must say, well, Dom, I think you're full of shit. I said, get in line. Your number starts at 1 million. What do you mean? I don't give a shit what the fuck you think. Now that might be very cruel, but it's coming out of their mouth. I said, you should be concerned about what you think. Because obviously you said it to me out loud. It's like when you said to me, Charles, you started challenging, or you just think the church was kind of funny or whatever words you used to describe when you were 8 or 9 years old. You were literally challenging whatever programs that was within yourself, because we got it from without. Why is it some people are capable that they get mugged, but consciously they don't remember how the person looks like, but then if they get into a trance, they can describe it to no end? Hence the term pattern recognition. That's what the subconscious can do, and more times than not. This is why when we talk about memory, where are memories?
They say memories are a spark of electricity, but they don't go into depth of what fucking memory really is. That's why I say my brain has archives. I'm digging in the crates, you know, like a DJ digging in the crates for albums. Or, you know, you ever seen The Matrix when they're in the computer and it's all white? And then when he uploads something, he'll upload files, and all these file cabinets will come zooming in. I used to joke with people and say that's my brain, all the memory.
Good analogy, yeah. I can see that, yeah.
I always thought, how does our brain store all this stuff?
Maybe
like you ever look at the TV and close your eyes and you could still see the television and the picture burned into your fucking eyes or whatever.
Like a pixel. Yep. Maybe it's not stored in what we call the brain. Maybe those are literally what they are, receivers.
It's stored in the cloud, in the ether.
Yep, another term, yep. You know, again, those are just us expanding now, even though it's still speculation, but at least it's not like, okay, Dom, it's stored in the brain. Okay, so if it's stored in the brain, can we break that down? Like, are we, you know, when you see a human brain, is it, okay, where is it? Where are the words stored? You know, it's like even with receiving. It's like if somebody for the very first time from a past generation, like way back when, looked at a TV or a laptop. So where are the pictures? Well, these are just receivers. That's a monitor. Yeah, but where is this? You know, because you see a human being in its 3D form, but then you see it on TV. Are we going to have to look behind the TV? Say, okay, well, it's stored there. No, it's coming from this little cable. What do you mean, this little cable? And then you get them even all messed up. No, it's wireless now. What do you mean it's wireless?
It's hooked up to the ether.
Again, we use words to describe it as best as we can. So if anything else, then we're doing wordsmith. As people say, it's spelling. Okay, it's spelling. Let's go with the ideal, it's spelling. But are you trying to imply when people say spelling, it's a good or bad thing? Because then we're voting. We're back to judging now.
I think we're being beamed down by a holographic machine.
Ah, that's a good one, Charles. I like that one. Yeah, okay, I like that. When I say I like it, of course I'm using my likes, it's another possibility.
Machine. I think we're in some sort of machine.
Like a simulation of some sort?
Yeah, Saturn's cube or whatever you want to call it.
Thing is, when you start, if me and you start sharing kind of stuff like this, some people say, I don't agree with all that. Okay, what do you agree with? Then you have to almost go in their direction. So let's talk about what your reality is. You know, because, you know, some people don't want to talk about this, other things. In this case, the unknown, whatever that may be. You know, I could talk about air, but I can never show anybody, okay, there's air. No, Dom, I just showed you a leaf.
The unknown puts people in fear, that's why.
You think so?
That's why. The RZA said something to, like, when people first see an animal or something, you know, because they don't know nothing of it, they'll shoot it.
They must be defending.
Maybe not. I'm putting that in good words, but
well, when people shoot things down, either they're defending something out of ignorance or they're going to attack something out of ignorance. Because, you know, if somebody says they value crystals, for example, okay, I'll hear your story, but I can't tell them I agree or disagree with it. I can't say it's woo-woo, even though people say, because like most people are parrots, you know, like, okay, no different if somebody says, okay, here's crystals and here's Wi-Fi. Which one would be woo-woo at that point? If a person values or believes, let's use the word believe, that crystals can harness energy, okay. Would you like to break it down a little bit, maybe? And if they're not able to, okay, well, thank you for presenting me that.
An experiment. People could do an experiment that shows. I learned this from Subtle Infinity. This channel I used to watch. He has good content, but he made this pyramid out of crushed. It had like copper, crushed crystal, gold, silver. He's putting all this stuff. I think he was making I forgot what you call that. He puts it in like a mold and molds it into a pyramid. What is that shit called? Orgone.
Yes, orgone.
Energy.
Yep.
And he put it in a bucket, a clear bucket. He put water in it and he froze it. And when he took it out and you look, no, actually he took it out of the bucket and it was frozen inside. You could literally see the fucking beams of energy coming off the pyramid in the ice. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Now, some people that would say that's kind of weird or they feel uncomfortable. I said, okay, so now let's take other things now, because you just gave an example of organic. So you take a lemon, you take some garlic, you take some oranges, you boil it in water. Next thing you know, it'll help you with something like your throat or something. Are we not taking different elements now and helping us with our energies? This is where, if people look at element charts, and then they start looking at all the other stuff. I said, there's elements everywhere. Language in itself is our elements. You start using an English word, and then you mix it with a German word or with a Latin word. Who knows? Next thing you know, you might have a society of listening. We know how to actually integrate all those different words and languages together. You know, but I get it. People want to have positions, and those positions, they become, you know, first impression becomes very lasting impression for them. They're not willing to have, some people use the word beginner's mind, for example, where you could take whatever you've learned, set it aside so you can make room to take in more information if you want to. But unfortunately, in a lot of instances, I can say that about myself, I'm trying to prove points opposed to share points. Because there's so many points out there, but if I'm being distracted by just trying to prove 1 or 2 points, I'm going to miss an opportunity of learning a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of like when people focus, and I think they focus too much on it, on masonry when it comes to degrees. Why limit yourself to 11 or 22 or 33 degrees? There's so many degrees. You're on a boat. What degree do you want to go? Especially if you know it's a circle of some sort. There's 360 degrees. Which one do you want to play with? You know? But again, this is the conditioning that happens to us, Charles, with the right and wrong, zeros and ones, black and whites. There's many different shades, there's many different numbers, and there's many different ways. Why limit to right or wrong? Now, for a person to say, well, Dominic, but that's all I do. I said, but wouldn't it serve you if you at least question why you use the word right and wrong? Forget about other possibilities at this point. Question where you stand first. You know, it's like when somebody says to me, Charles, you know how I felt about this, because I've heard numerous of people, so right now I'll just embrace it, where people say, Dominic, I agree or I disagree. I said, why limit yourself to those 2 choices? Even the word I gives it away, so it's all about you, which I get it. It's always going to be about me, Charles. When I talk, it's always about me. I might make it sound like it's about others or I'm generalizing, but I know it's always about me. That's why when Yahweh talks, I get it. He's just saying it in a different way. You know, where is Germany? As he would say, I would say the same thing. Where is Germany? And then somebody will point to some landmass. I said, no, where's Germany? I wasn't talking about the reality part, the real part. That's a given. Where's Germany? I don't know. Where's America? I don't know. Where's Russia? I don't know. So you have to believe the words that we use are those things that we call reality. And I'm using the definition of reality at this point because, again, we're just playing with words.
Yeah, like when I tell people Trump don't exist, and they'd be like, "We're dumb, Chuck. He's right there on TV."
But you're valid.
He's a character made up.
Yeah, but you're valid. When you say the word Trump doesn't exist, the word does not exist there. There's a character on stage, in this case, through that box that you have. I don't care what type of box it is, but that could be green screen too if we're going to really play that game. But if you were literally there and you saw a man, yeah. But if you were literally there, it can be. But if you were really there, meaning that you're there with your senses, you see a guy in a form with a suit on, with a tan face or whatever, and then somebody says, "Well, look, there's Donald Trump right there." Yeah. And then they say, "There's Donald Trump there." I said, "No, Donald Trump is not there." What do you mean? That thing is there, but the word Donald Trump is not there. Now, a person said, "But that's not what I'm talking about." I said, "So then you don't have discernment then. You think the words and that object are the same." Like I'll respond to Dominic and Domenico, but I realize those words aren't me. And it goes back to thoughts and afterthoughts. Now somebody will say, "Listen, Dom, but you're playing a game." I thought I openly admitted that. It's a play to me. But I still got to go to work. Okay. Do you know why you go to work? That's a philosophy question. Why? I have to go to work because I need food. You sure you need food or your body needs food? Dom, you're being clever now. I thought you were being clever. You just never did it openly. Anyway, I'll wait for you, Charles.
Damn, look at this idiot. I was gone 2 seconds and it booted me out. Connecticut woman uses stolen identities to steal more than $230K in unemployment benefits. Hold up. Where's my here we are. I need these. Let's put that there. Connecticut woman uses stolen identities to steal more than $230K in unemployment benefits. That is stupid.
Because she got caught?
No, it's dumb. Like she doesn't know that everything's computerized. They track everything, and she don't look like the type that was smart enough to clean up her digital footprints or fingerprints. But Bianca, what is it? Bianca Davila? DeVito.
So what,
Davila.
Charles, outside of the title, the headline, and then it says by Richard Clummy or whatever, and then they show you of a person that can easily be done. How do we know if any of that's even real?
That's true. And these writers are known for twisting shit and changing it just to sell. And look at his name, Chum Nee. This guy got a Chum Nee. What the fuck? Chum Lee? Oh no, that's on that TV show.
So now, they might have broke it down into the story. That could have just been the heading. So let's say it's real and somebody did do that. What procedures are they going to do to close these doors? Because this person probably just got caught. That's like saying, okay, we caught another 100 people speeding on the highway. Okay, well that's nice. So you charged them, but what are you really going to do outside of just charging them and making financial gain from them to prevent people from speeding, as you allow big corporations to make cars that go faster than the speed limit? See, this is how it becomes a perpetual cycle. Nothing ever really truly gets done. And if it does, it's for the benefit of the people that are making these pretend policies for a short period of time. This could be a story that we've been fed, which it is, but it might not be real. There's a good chance the government and the elites do way more stealing from unemployment benefits or from pensioners, hence why a lot of elderlies, quite a few elderlies were passing away during COVID because they don't have to pay out now. Of course, I'm speculating again.
Donald Trump.
They weren't getting enough traction with Joe Biden and Obama, so they had to bring in Donald Trump, the better comedian. Like, Charles, do you honestly think the citizens of America are going to benefit with Donald Trump as president? If we had to speculate.
Oh, these fucking people. It just says free, but it ain't free.
Nothing's free, Charles. You know that. As you're putting a lot of effort to maneuver around something that they kind of classified as free.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get some more backgrounds, some cool backgrounds to change them every day.
How's your little kitty? Did you get some food for her? Did you get some food for her yesterday or today?
Yeah. Try not to let her get fat. Like my other cat. When we got her, she had a fat belly. That ain't healthy.
Did she get spaded or neutered? Sorry, I forget which one it is usually.
No.
No? Okay. Because usually when you do that, they usually have that hanging part at the bottom there. Are you giving her wet food and dry food or just wet food?
Just wet food.
Yeah, good.
I've tried to give her dry. She just won't eat it.
She's probably pretty wise then. Problem with dry food, you have to make sure they drink a lot of water because, it's dry. At least wet food has it. Do you have a fountain that you have a water hole for her that she can drink that's always moving and circulating?
No.
Okay. Some cats
I got to she used to drink out of the sink. I don't know why she stopped.
Well, probably a lot of effort. Yeah, because the sink, at least it's a little bit more fresher. Maybe even put some Epstein. Oh, fuck, I don't even know what word how to pronounce it.
Epstein salt.
Yes, put a little tablespoon in the water. My cat's at that age now. It drinks water that are stale, like sitting still. But at least it's artesian water for her. Whether it's artesian or spring water. At least we care for other species, Charles. That's a good thing for us.
Yeah, animals don't stab you in the back.
No, they'll protect their loved ones if they have to. Whether it's a bird or a tiger or whatever. And if the animal is somewhat defective, they won't even tend to them. So they kind of understand the strong have to survive. You know, we're living in a society where, you know, I'm not and this is going to sound harsh, but when people that are defected in certain ways, especially economically or even for the betterment of humanity, should they be able to continue? That's a tough one. It may sound very harsh what I just said. It's kind of like immune system. If you have a weak immune system, you're going to be vulnerable for the rest of the community because a virus or whatever can take over. And then the rest of us are going to have to stay really strong to kill it, or at least not allow it to move from body to body.
This fucking thing.
So again, I guess the gang didn't show up for Sunday speculation. They're all at church, I guess.
I did go live later too, so.
Oh, you did? You went later yesterday?
No, today.
Oh, today.
Maybe that's why people didn't come. Damn, why isn't this fucking... I forgot how I did this yesterday.
Well, Charles, I know you were going to leave, so have an enjoyable day. I'll when I come home later, I'll keep an eye open to see whether or not you're online again.
All right, Dom. Thank you for coming up.
Always, Charles. Have a good day. Okay, mm-hmm.
Peace to everyone in the. You need to know. No J. Evil. No J Evil. No J. Who's that? No J Evil. I'm trying to figure out what you mean by this, Alchemos. I know what you mean, but I don't know the person. Peace, Bex. Hey, Tammy came in. Who else did I miss? I'll reverse the name. Okay. Hey, Candy. Now I'm gonna leave it up if you want to go back and watch it. Who's live John? I'll figure it out. Turn this off. It's the moon. Man, if they only had this thing turn a little slower, I'm gonna see if I can slow it down. That looks more like Pluto. Or it looks like all the planets NASA. It looks like Mercury. It's fucking hilarious, man. NASA, what a joke they are. But people eat it up, man. Hey, Jason, how's everything? All right, everyone. I'll see you guys in a little while. I'll probably go live again. I'm about to just go eat something, and then I'll probably go live. I don't know what topic. I did want to talk about the Titan trees and stuff, but in the underworld, like the city of Hades. I know Jesus allegedly went to Hades, but that could mean stuff allegorical in the body too. But I also think there is a city Hades underground. Anyway, it's depicted in a lot of movies also. But I'll check y'all later. I'm out. Have a great afternoon.